All systems go. Clear for takeoff.
What is going on, SHIPIT Nation YouTube station? We're back with another episode of the MLB Witching Hour Sunday edition, and it's your breakfast, it's your morning, it's your green eggs and ham witch, and Nade's bringing you the winners today for Sunday. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Hopefully you all had some good weekend fun. It was very, very profitable streets over here at SHIPIT Nation. A lot of winners in the Discord, especially PGA. I looked at the hashtag SHIPIT channel in the Discord, and man, our guy Hoop continues to print nice little 10 stacks there in the PGA streets. A lot of members turning a couple $100 into a couple thousand. So it was a very, very profitable weekend over here in both MLB, MMA, and PGA, with the Open coming up next week, another major event. If you guys are new, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We are trying to continue to push to more subscribers here. We did hit 2,000 subscribers. Since we did, and you guys responded, we are doing a giveaway on Tuesday, the Tuesday Premium, which is actually going to be a freemium show now for you guys for the Open, the golf major next week. Hoop and Tambo will be giving away a couple memberships to the site over here. Get you in there, get the content for the Open next week for the premium, get you MMA content, get you the MLB content, some best ball content, all that. So next Tuesday, make sure you do tune into that. They are going to pick a couple winners for monthly membership, I do believe, because you guys did get to 2,000 plus subscribers on this channel. Let's keep doing that. If you haven't hit the subscribe button already, please do so. Hit the like button. If we do get to 115 likes by the end of this video, I will give away our top 2 ranked pitchers and our top 2 ranked hitters. And on Friday, Mr. Hamwich, we nailed the slate, and guess who our top ranked pitcher was that chat did not get because they did not get the like button home. It was a guy that you needed to ship all the money, and it was Mr. Corbin Burns right there against the Cincinnati Reds, which I talked about for sure on this show. But that's enough babbling off the top here. Hamwich, I'll bring you in. How was your weekend, man? How was the MLB streets on Friday, on Saturday? What'd you do? Hang out with the family, enjoy the weather. What's going on, man?
Yeah. Hey, good morning, Nades. Yeah, no, great weekend. Friday night was good. We absolutely nailed that slate on the show. I mean, we talked about it, all the home runs that we said on the show. Corbin Burns, the number 1 pitcher. Great night Friday night. Not as good on Saturday. Had the Pirates, and they were very hurtful. We loved them over here at SHIPIT Nation. But hey, that's the way it rolls. We're back here Sunday. And the one note that I did see is that Mets game did move to 5:10 Eastern. So this slate will drag on a little longer than we anticipated. That Mets game did get pushed back, but it looks like it's still on both slates. So just note that when you're making the lineups. But yeah, great weekend overall. Did some pool, did some softball, and ready to knock the slate out.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a beautiful weekend over here in Wisconsin. Enjoying the weather. Spent some time with the friends. Went to the local carny like my guy G Risen did last night. Enjoyed some drinks. Enjoyed some live music. But ready to dive back in here. Was back-to-back profitable nights for me over here in the MLB streets. Hoping to run it back today. As always, we're going to run through pitchers. Then we'll go game by game. So starting with pitchers, Hamwich, let's go 8,700 and above. That's Tanner Beebe. We got Max Scherzer, Zach Wheeler, Justin Steele, and Zach Eflin. I'm looking like right now Zach Wheeler about the chalk of the slate, right around 40 to 45% ownership. Max Scherzer going to be 25 to 30% owned. Eflin, sub 20% owned. He is 10K, but he does get a nice matchup against Kansas City. Where are you going in this range? Talk to me.
Yeah, no, this is a none of the elite pitchers like we had on Friday and even Saturday. So these are what I would term second tier pitchers. But hey, we got to play them. Zach Eflin, number 1 in price, and he's got a great matchup facing this Royals team who has been struggling as of late. And Eflin has had a resurgence of a season, if you will, striking out over 32% of left-handed hitters that he's been facing over the last 30 days, and he's going to get 6 of those. So I really like Zach Eflin today with his strikeout upside. this Royals lineup that is not very good. I mean, obviously you got Bobby Witt, Salvi Perez batting 2-3. So 1, 2, and 3 are going to be righties, and after that, 6 straight lefties. So have interest in Eflin. No interest in Justin Steele. Wind blowing out. Low K upside, so that's an easy pass for me. Justin Steele. Zach Wheeler, great matchup. Fernando Tatis, not in the lineup or not in the projected lineup is the last I saw. So anytime you can get that stick out of the lineup, I think you got to boost him. But 40% ownership, especially in tournaments, which is what I play, that's I can pivot off that. If he's 40%, if he's that high, I think that's a pivot for me. Max Scherzer, this Dodgers lineup is scary. They had 19 All-Stars or how many they had, but I really like Max Scherzer today. I know the BVP. I know you're a big BVP guy, Nades, but Max Scherzer striking out 35% of these right-handed hitters, and Bet scares me. Martinez scares me. It's a very scary proposition. But on this limited slate with this limited K upside slate, I do have a little bit of interest in Max Scherzer than Tyner Bibby, however you say his name. I'm not going to pick on these Rangers when they're at home to face the right-handed pitchers. So in this group, it's Eflin, Wheeler, and Scherzer for me.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown. I'm a little bit different than you. Say hi to a couple guys in chat here. As always, Corey Pooler, welcome back from the honeymoon. Hopefully everything went there. Congratulations for you and your wife. I know you were in chat trying to sign up for membership, but you did have the wedding and the honeymoon coming up. So hopefully we'll see you in the Discord, get you a membership. Again, $59 a month, $5.99 for the year. If you do the yearly membership, again, that includes NHL, which myself will be heading up, NFL, which is right around the corner. That breaks down to about $49 a month. So incredible value there for all of our premium content, premium projections, tools. The content is just absolutely incredible over here. And I think the members can say that for themselves in the Discord. So $59 a month, SHIPITNation.com does get you access to all that. $5.99 for the year is going to be the best value possible. Breaks it down, like I said, to $49 a month. Got Mike in the chat. Go collect. Cesar Martinez. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Richie Small, smash the like button. That's right, Richie. Let them know. Hit the like button. Smash that like button for us. We do appreciate it a ton. But yeah, in this range, Zach Eflin is going to be number one for me. I'm just seeing sub 20% ownership. I'll pay $400 more to get a fraction of the ownership there, which I think Zach Eflin has just as much, if not more, upside than Zach Wheeler does. There is some Padres bats that have gotten to Wheeler in the past. And if you think back to the last two slates and those two chalk guys that are out in Minnesota, right, getting that quote unquote nut matchup against Oakland. Those chalk pitchers didn't do very well. Spencer Strider got hit around a little bit yesterday. Seems like the theme of the past as of late, right, Ham, which is those high owned pitchers, right, and quote unquote can't miss matchups. Well, everyone lets you know that, hey, it's still MLB DFS. There's still variance involved, and those pitchers did not get the job done. So I do like Zach Eflin, especially as a pivot off of Zach Wheeler there. I do think Zach Wheeler is definitely in play, has a lot of K upside. I talk about it a lot, these Padres. It is a pretty scary matchup on paper overall from a name recognition, but they still strike out. You got three dudes in that lineup that's striking out right around 30%. The rest of them is pretty low. So I do think his strikeout upside is a little kept in check here. Juan Soto definitely has the power and limits strikeouts against righties, at least on the road. So I'm going to take my chances and be off of Zach Wheeler here. I wouldn't fault anyone for going to him. But again, I'm playing two teams today. Just not going to play Zach Wheeler when I like Zach Eflin kind of a lot more, and it's only a $400 price difference there. Typically we've seen these aces, how much, 11,500, 12,000, right, on these slates. We get a discount here. Zach Eflin against Kansas City, one of the best matchups in baseball at just 10K flat. So I like him. I'm with you on Max Scherzer. I'm not a huge BVP guy. I too look at it. I don't use it as a sole kind of decision maker. It's just interesting to kind of take a look at because I do think it stands true in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys just definitely like Rafael Devers, right, against Garrett Cole. He just sees he just has his number. But Max Scherzer, I think, does have some strikeouts. He's starting to turn it around a little bit. There is still some strikeouts in this Dodgers lineup to be had. Muncy, Martinez, and Outman all projected to be in there, all strike out over a 30% clip. There is a note. Kevin Roth does have this game tagged as orange. Probably our worst weather spot on the entire slate is this Dodgers and this Mets game. So definitely keep an eye on that. And the other one is that Zach Wheeler game, Padres and the Phillies. He has tagged as yellow and orange. So the second worst matchup on the board too for weather. So that's kind of why I'm also off of Zach Wheeler there in that game. Just don't want to really deal with weather on a 10-game slate here. Especially at that projected ownership. Could he get it done? Yeah, absolutely. If he does, I'm just going to take my chances with other guys. So in this range for me, it's going to be Zach Eflin, number 1, and then Max Scherzer, number 2. Don't really have interest in Tanner Beebe at all, really, against Texas. I'm not playing a righty against Texas at home. And Justin Steele in a win game in Wrigley, about 82, 83 degrees, 15 to 20 mile an hour gut winds blowing out in Wrigley. So I just can't do Justin Steele. I get it, right? And an all-star starter, I just can't do it there. So pretty easy, clear cut 1 and 2 for me in this range. Eflin far and away, and then Max Scherzer I do think is a viable secondary option in that range. Definitely do keep an eye on the weather there. Next range here, let's go 7,400 up to 8,500. We got Seth Lugo, Kikuchi, Josiah Gray, Kyle Bradish, Bobby Miller, and then Dylan Cease. I'm not really seeing a ton of ownership at all, really, in this range. I mean, I'm seeing a couple guys right around 10 to 15% ownership, but ownership really not a big factor in this range. So do you like anyone in here that seems to be pretty low?
Yeah, I'll talk about 3 pitchers in this range, and then if you have anybody, certainly talk about those. But Dylan Cease is striking out both sides of the plate, over 30%. I mean, obviously playing the Braves is always a scary proposition, but he's going to be sub 10% on both sides, probably even lower than that. But he does have the K upside. I mentioned earlier, this is not a heavy K upside type of slate that I see. So do have a little bit of interest in Dylan Cease. Be tough to get there on FanDuel on the one pitcher site. But I think he has to be in consideration just based off his straight K upside. The other one that I would have a little bit of interest in, it would be Yasel Kikuchi facing this Diamondbacks offense. I do like Kikuchi's K upside as well. The righties, the first 3 righties scare me a little bit with Marte, Rivera, and Gurriel betting 1, 2, 3. I think if he can get past that, he's got Corbin Carroll batting in the 6th hole tonight, lefty on lefty. I mean, Corbin Carroll's great, but I think that Kikuchi at that price tag, he could certainly pay that off. And then my SP1 on the entire slate, Kyle Bradish coming in at 8,200. Really like Kyle Bradish. Hope the weather stays out of the ballpark, but striking out both sides of the plate, over 27%. He's going to face six righties and 3 lefties. His main strikeout pitches, which is his cutter and his slider. This Marlins team has a swinging strike rate. Everybody in the lineup except Luis Arias has a double-digit teen strikeout or a swinging strike rate on his cutter and his slider. So I really think that Bradish is going to soar over his K prop today. I really like him to get 8+ K. So he's my SP1 on the slate today.
Yeah, excellent breakdown. I'm in lockstep with you with Kyle Bradish. I love Kyle Bradish. If you take a look at his last 4 games, 8 strikeouts, 7 strikeouts, 7 strikeouts, 5 strikeouts, right around 100 pitches in all 4 of those games. The only bat that I'm really worried about is the all-star in this lineup. Luis Arias just puts the ball in play, has a little bit of power sometimes, but the rest of this lineup I'm not afraid of. There is some weather in this game. I hope it does. Roth on Twitter is optimistic this game plays. There is a window in there. I do think Kyle Bradish is just too cheap at 8,200, and I'm seeing sub 15% ownership on him right now. That probably increases a little bit throughout the day as we approach lock here, but I just don't care. I love Kyle Bradish here. I've been a Kyle Bradish guy the last couple starts, and it's treated me well. 8,200, just a great price tag for him. I like him. Dylan Cease, I get it, right? K upside there with Atlanta, but man, the only guy in this lineup that's really striking out over 20% is Sam Hilliard, who did crack the lineup today, obviously with Sunday. Some guys getting the day off there. He's slotting in the 9 hole. Outside of that, I mean, it's hot and humid, wind blowing out in Truist Park. I can't do it with Dylan Cease. I mean, I'm not going to attack these Braves, and I get it. It's a GPP, high upside, risk reward type play, but 8,500. I mean, if he was like 7,200, something like that, maybe I could take a chance at it. But 8,500 is still pretty hefty. I mean, he's one of the most expensive pitchers on the slate, right? Coming in at SP6 in terms of pricing, and he's facing the Braves. I just can't do it personally. I do think he has some K upside there, but overall, this team does not strike out a lot. I mean, you got the top of the lineup all striking out under 20%. against right-handed pitching and hot and humid, wind blowing out in Truist Park. I just can't do it. Kyle Bradish, far and away number one for me. Kikuchi is definitely going to get some ownership, probably 15 to 20% here against Arizona. I can't do it. He's graded as our worst pitcher over here on our metrics. I trust these metrics quite a bit. They've done well all season long, and he is dead last in our rankings over here. Not to say that's end all be all. I mean, this Arizona team on the road this season against lefties, striking out at just an 18% clip. They have expected ISO right around 200 because obviously you got guys like Carson Kelly and they're skewing the numbers a little bit, but I can't do it. I haven't been really a Kikuchi guy ever. He always gets on my nerves, but he is a home favorite here. Toronto does have a pretty high implied run total, so he should have some run support behind him. 7,700, I think, he makes some sense, but not my favorite there. So it's really Kyle Bradish in this range for me, and not a ton of interest in these other guys, to be honest with you. Seth Lugo has been pretty solid overall this season, but I mean, I don't know if I'm going to attack Philly here. Let's touch on the rest of these guys. I mean, you got Ben Lively, Jack Flaherty, who I'm seeing about 25 to 30% ownership on. Obviously, he gets Washington, who we just played Steven Matz yesterday. He did fine for his price tag. Now we get Flaherty, who I think is better than Matz a little bit at least. Kind of a game manager out there, 6,900 for him against Washington. Adrian Hauser, the corpse down there. Cutter Crawford, I'm seeing about 14 to 15% ownership. He's just 5,500, has some good strikeout upside there, but it is a win game in Wrigley, hot and humid as well in Chicago. Anyone else in this range, in this lower tier that you're seeing here stand out to you?
Yeah, nobody really. I mean, Kobe Allard, I'll take a look at. I'll dive deeper into him. He's only had a limited sample size this season, but he does have some K upside, and I'm not a fan. We've been picking on this White Sox team over the last 10 days, and they got to Strider. They also struck out a bunch of times. I know he had 10 Ks, but they got to Strider. So I'll take a look at him if I need the salary. But you nailed all the other ones with Flaherty being a possibility. No interest in any of those other guys. Cutter Crawford in that win game. If he's 5,500, but in that win game, I'll pass on him.
Yeah, I mean, this pitching slate is pretty condensed, personally, from what I'm seeing. So I think this is more as a slate, right? Kind of go condensed on a couple of these pitchers that I have faith in, at least. Obviously, you can play guys in here that we didn't really hit on too much that we don't have interest on. It's not the end-all, be-all, but I'm seeing a pretty condensed pitcher slate overall. And might be a spot where you kind of spread out on bats. Obviously, we don't have Coors Field here. Have a lot of pretty high implied run totals on a lot of these teams, some good weather spots overall. So, yeah, down low, I do think my favorite is definitely, I think Kobe Allard's my favorite. He checks out pretty well. Obviously, it's limited rankings, but it's still the White Sox. There's two guys that really scare me in that lineup. It's Jake Berger. It's Luis Robert against the lefty. But, I mean, Kobe Allard, 6,300. I like the Braves a lot today against Dylan Cease. He should be in line for the win. I think he can go out there. He's got good strikeout upside. So I do like him a decent amount. Jack Flaherty, I think, is in play. And then if you need a guy all the way down on the bottom for salary, Cutter Crawford, I do think he has strikeout upside, even though it is a win game. There is still strikeouts to be had in this Cubs lineup overall. So that's for me. That's going to do it for pitching. Again, pretty weak pitching slate overall. I definitely would love to kind of round my teams out with Kyle Bradish there at 8,200, to be honest with you. But if you do need salary, there's a couple guys down there that we did mention. Let's go game by game here. Before we do, again, if you guys are just tuning in, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. This is brought to you by SHIPITNation.com. Another little promo here. Pop it up on the screen. We are brought to you by Drafters. Again, best ball content. It is $300,000 to win this year. See if we got the reigning champ, Title Crown himself, Titletown. Him and Marley have done a lot of best ball shows on this channel right here for free. They're going to continue to do them as we lead up to NFL season right around the corner. Get in there, use the promo code SHIPIT for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100, which is double what the typical promo is. Typically, they match up to $50, I believe. With the promo code SHIPIT, you do get $100 for free, basically, using that code. So you deposit $100, you get $200 to use in the best ball streets over there. See if you can take down Titletown for 300 stacks this season, and definitely be a nice nice little boost there at the end of the NFL season. So definitely head over to drafters.com, use that code SHIPIT to get that 100% deposit bonus. Check out our content for that. Jump in the Discord, ask Marley questions, ask Titletown questions. We have ADP rankings. We have everything needed for Best Ball Streets. Let's jump in game by game. Like I said, first game on the slate I'm looking at, it is those White Sox heading into Truist Park to face Kobe Allard. Dylan Cease on the mound for the White Sox. 4 implied run total for the White Sox, 5.4, approaching 5.5 here for the Braves. Again, is hot and humid in Truist Park, slight wind blowing out as well. And these Braves continue to just print power, speed combination up and down this lineup. Do you have interest in going back to these Braves? I know you talked about Cease a little bit, and then any of these White Sox against Kobe Allard, because the White Sox historically are a better hitting team versus left-handed pitching.
Yeah, no, they are, and no interest in the White Sox though. I mean, I could see a one-off potentially, but not on this slate. They've had a last 10 days, in my opinion. I mean, last Sunday, Steven Matz just absolutely dominated them, and they got dominated on Friday night, and then they got struck out 10 times. I know they scored 6 runs and won, but a lot of that stuff was done on like 1-2, 0-2 pitches, and I was on Strider, so it was very tilting last night. So no White Sox for me. And on this slate, I'm going to pick on a pitcher that I don't have any faith in. And Dylan Cease, I do have a little bit of belief in. I mean, obviously they're the Braves. They have Matt Olson. They have Ronald Acuna, Travis d'Arnaud's in the lineup today. I mean, those guys can beat you any day. But with Cease on the hill, I'm going to pass on the Braves on my 3 teams.
Yeah, no, I definitely get it. I just think the Braves are going to go under-owned here today because it is Dylan Cease on the mound. And anytime I get the Atlanta Braves, right, with a team like their roster, the only guy I really don't have a ton of interest in is Sam Hilliard, like I said, down at the bottom. But, I mean, 1 through 7, I think are firmly in play. I love 1 through 7. Obviously, Acuna double-dong yesterday, got some steals in there. But Travis d'Arnaud, I love right there. I mean, the dude smashes right-handed pitching at home. He's going to be my home run call right now early in the show. I will give it to you. Travis d'Arnaud is taking Dylan Cease deep in Truist Park today. I like the Braves quite a bit. Like I said, 1 through 7, but you can always include Arcia in there. Again, Mr. All-Star himself, Arcia. And then sure, Sam Hilliard has had some games this season, right, where he's hit a couple home runs in there, and he's dirt cheap, 2,100 in that Braves team. Nice little salary saver there. So I do like the Braves quite a bit. On the White Sox side, I did like Kobe Allard a little bit. He ranks pretty well in our pitcher rankings over here too at SHIPIT Nation. But again, Luis Robert, Eloy Jimenez, Jake Berger, I will bring those guys up every time they're facing the lefty. So I do like those 3 in particular there. You can always include a guy like Andrew Vaughn in there. Tim Anderson's straight dead to me. I mean, that dude can drive off a cliff. I will never play him again. And man, he's still $4,000 on DraftKings. If you want to pay the rake, go ahead and play Tim Anderson at 4K at shortstop.
him.
Right. Yeah. So White Sox, a little mini stack for me if you want to. It's a spot where I have some interest in those bats, but I also have interest in Kobe Allard, especially with the price tag. I just think there's strikeout upside to be had throughout this lineup. But yeah, Braves definitely one of the top stacks of the day for me. And you'll have to check out the bats that I like the most for the Braves in my core report over on ShipItNation.com. Next game on the slate, again, it is a weather game, Miami and Baltimore. Kevin Roth does think it's pretty optimistic a play. There's some storms coming in early. Then there's a window to play, he said, and then there's more storms coming in late. So hopefully that window is long enough to play this game because I love Kyle Bradish on the slate at the price tag. I know you did as well. Going to be a bullpen game here for the Marlins. Steven Okert's going to open, and then it looks like the corpse Johnny Cueto himself is going to come in behind that. Typically, I don't like picking on bullpen games very much, but it is Johnny Cueto projected to come in. But they do have quite a bit of lefties in this Marlins bullpen as well. And obviously the bats that you like are these lefties for these Orioles: Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, Santander, Ryan O'Hearn's in the lineup today. Do you have interest in this game, or is it just more of a pitching spot for you with Kyle Bradish? Where are you going in this one?
Yeah, I really like Kyle Bradish, and the more we talk about it, the more I look at the numbers. I kind of like this Orioles stack. I mean, I hope they stick Johnny Cueto in there. This will be his second time to pitch all season long. The first time, I'll save you some time. Do not go look because it did not go well for Mr. Cueto. Gunnar Henderson at the top of this lineup has printed for us all season long. He has a great matchup. and they have several lefties in this pen, and some of our better bats are from the right-handed side with Adley Rutschman and Santander batting from the right side if they have a lefty in there. Ryan Mountcastle, I know he's not in the lineup yet, but if they put him in the lineup, he could be well. Aaron Hicks, so I certainly have a little bit of interest in this Orioles team, and definitely no interest in the Marlins, as we both agree that Kyle Bradish is our SP1 on the slate.
Yeah, I'm in lockstep. I do think the Orioles, as our guy Pensack in the Discord always said, it's the Orioles always, right? He thinks they're going to win the World Series. That's a little stretch there. Obviously, he is a Baltimore homer there, so he always talks about the Orioles every single day in the Discord. But the Orioles have been very well to me all season long so far. I think they do make typically I don't like tagging bullpen games too much, but Johnny Cueto is slated to be the long reliever after Stephen Okert exits after likely one inning of pitching there. So you do get probably 4, 5, 6 innings maybe out of these Orioles against Johnny Cueto. I think they can do some damage there. Not one of my top priority stacks, but I do think they are firmly in play and probably going to go slightly under or overlooked here because they do have right around a 4.7, 4.8 implied run total, which is pretty low on the slate compared to some of these teams. And it is a bullpen game, which a lot of people do not like targeting. But Johnny Cueto in there, sign me up for some of these Orioles. Marlins, complete cross off on the slate. I like Kyle Bradish. Don't really see a need to pick on him on the slate. Again, next game on the slate, another weather game. It is the Padres and the Phillies, probably the second worst weather game on the slate. It is chalk Zach Wheeler, 50% on Zach Wheeler against these Padres. Do you have any interest in some of these Padres bats like Juan Soto, like I brought up, Manny Machado in there? Trent Grisham hit a bomb, yesterday, the day before. He's 2,500 down there in the lineup. Brendan Dixon, some of these cheap guys down here against the chalk, or are you fading this game for bats?
Yeah, the only Padre I would have interest in is going to be Juan Soto. Our metrics really like him, our tools, and looking at the numbers, I like him as well against Wheeler as a one-off only. Batting in that 2-hole, favorable weather in terms of wind. And so if it doesn't rain, I wouldn't mind Soto as a one-off. And, man, you got to love these lefties against Seth Lugo for the Phillies. Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, who broke his streak yesterday and hit a bomb from the left-handed side of the plate. Brandon Marsh, if he's in the lineup, normally bats around the 6th or 7th hole. Really like these lefty bats. For these Phillies, and I would full stack them on both FanDuel and DraftKings. Obviously, if those lefties have a good day, Lugo won't be in there long, and then they'll bring in somebody out of the pen so those righties can take over from there. So, yeah, give me these Phillies, assuming that weather holds, and then only Juan Soto from the Padres.
Yeah, I'm with you here. I do think these Phillies are definitely in play and a little sneaky stack here against Seth Lugo. Seth Lugo has some underlying metrics that aren't very good overall. Obviously, he has been okay as of late here, but I do think these Phillies, Harper, like you said, broke out of his slump yesterday, finally got one over the wall. Kyle Schwarber can do it against anyone always. Derek Hall, don't sleep on him at the first base position there, 2,700 for him. He is in that lineup there. Brandon Marsh is hitting 6. Bryson Stott. I do think some of these guys, I mean, they can put the ball in play. They can hit for power. I don't mind some of these Phillies. Again, it is a wind game or a weather game, in there. But Kevin Roth does think they could wait a couple hours and definitely get this game in. And we have to wait on the slate anyways, right, with the Dodgers and the Mets game pushed back. So I do think they will get this game in. And I don't mind some of these Phillies bats personally. Padres for me, just Juan Soto, really. You can play Juan Soto pretty much any slate, pretty much against anyone. He does have, for all the BVP guys out there, does have some BVP against Mr. Zach Wheeler himself too. A couple bombs off of him, batting right around 300, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but somewhere around that. So I don't mind it. Definitely not one of my favorite spots, these Phillies, but they are a lower owned stack that I am looking at, definitely interested in.
One thing to add real quick, Nades, is they played a doubleheader yesterday, and the Padres did pitch 7 relief pitchers. So if we can get to Lugo early with these left-handed sticks, we might see Lugo last a little longer than normally. It's just something to think about when you're building your teams. That they did throw 7 relievers yesterday, pretty much everybody in their bullpen. So keep that in mind when you're building those teams and thinking about those Phillies.
Yeah, always love a tax bullpen. because like you said, right, they typically leave the starter in there a little bit longer than he should be in there if their bullpen is taxed, and then obviously the bullpen comes in. They're tired anyways after just pitching, not really getting full rest, stuff like that. So yeah, definitely a slight boost there to the Phillies. That's a good nugget that you did drop there. Next game on the slate, we have the D-backs heading into Toronto. Tommy Henry on the mound, and hey, we like attacking Mr. Tommy Henry. But man, these Blue Jays, I can never get these freaking Blue Jays right. Implied to score over 5 runs. I know our guy Hoop is at his son's baseball tournament and stuff, but all his content is up on the site. I know he likes some of the Blue Jays today. Are you riding with Hoop, who continues to print money over here? Are you jumping on these Blue Jays? And then any D-backs for you?
Yeah, fading Hoop is never a recipe for success. I'll say that first and foremost. But I'm seeing all these Blue Jays, sub 10% on FanDuel, and I'm with you. It's tough to get these guys right. They never seem to print when I'm on them. But so Tommy Henry, though, you got to be willing to pick on him and these right-handed bats, Matt Chapman, Guerrero, Bichette. I think you got to have those in play for sure. And then on the other side, really no interest in the Diamondbacks. I mean, I have a little bit of interest in Kikuchi. I don't think I would full stack this Diamondbacks team. I would pick off somebody in their top 3, whether it's Marte, Rivera, or Gurriel. Gurriel profiles the best for me as it relates to pitches that Kikuchi throws. So I would say Gurriel would be the only one I'm interested in from the D-back side.
Yeah, great breakdown. I do think these Blue Jays do make some sense. Again, I can never get them right, but my guy Donnie Johnson there, Wisconsin boy, catcher, 3,500. The dude smashes left-handed pitching. I like Mr. Danny Jansen there in the 6-hole quite a bit, 3,500 at the catcher position. Bo Bichette, Matt Chapman. You can always play those guys. Vlad Guerrero is just 5K flat. I know Hoop likes himself some Vlad Guerrero there. I think these Blue Jays are in play. I prefer them more as a mini stack personally. Just don't. I typically never can get these guys right, and every time I 5-man stack them, they score 2 runs. So tread lightly there, but Blue Jays firmly in play. They will get some ownership here today with their implied run total at home against Tommy Henry in Toronto there. For the D-backs, for me, you can always make a case to stack against Kikuchi. He can get wild there, start walking guys, start getting hit around a little bit. He does provide about 11% barrel rate on the season, so he does get hit around. And you do have Corbin Carroll in there, Evan Longoria, Christian Walker, Lourdes Gurriel. So I like kind of that middle of the order there. Carson Kelly, in his limited sample size, typically has been a lefty smasher, hasn't gotten a ton of at-bats this season so far, but Carson Kelly, 3,200 at the catcher position there. So I like that middle of the order for the D-backs against Kikuchi, who will be a pretty popular pitcher option at 7,700. Again, pitcher slate is pretty weak overall. So people are just kind of flocking to a lot of the same guys. So D-backs, a little bit of leverage there against Kikuchi as well. Guaranteed 9th inning at bats, I think makes some sense overall. Next game on the slate, we have the highest total, I believe, and it is my Brewers heading into Great American Small Park to face Ben Lively and the Reds. Pulling up the weather here. Let me just look. It is going to be about 92, 93 degrees, double-digit wind blowing out to left field. Fantastic hitting conditions on the slate. And we got freaking Adrian Hauser, who isn't any good for the Brewers on the mound. So I definitely like some of these Reds for sure. And then, hey, it is Ben Lively, above average barrel rate, gets hit around pretty good. Right around 22% strikeout rate overall. Expected ERA numbers right around 5. I think we see some fireworks in this one. Are you with me? Do you like the bats on both sides here?
Yeah, expect a shootout today. I won't be on this game though. However, I don't like stacking the Brewers. Too much pitch hit risk for me, and overall, I just don't think they're a very good offense in general. Jesse Winker batting in the 4-hole does not scare me one bit. Owen Miller in the 5-hole. I just can't get on these Brewers today. Christian Yelich, we have an expected ISO for him of .033, so not very good. He would be the one that I have interest in, but after looking at that, I think I'm off on him. And I do love these lefties against Adrian Hauser with that wind and those lefties. I mean, those lefties is where a lot of that power is at. Matt McClain is always dangerous as well. So, yeah, give me these Reds as opposed to the Brewers. I'll pick on Adrian Hauser in his, I think, 16% strikeout rate that he has on the season. So, Reds will be one of my top 3 stacks for sure. But I I think I'm going to pass on these Brewers.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I don't really love the Brewers a ton. Obviously, Yelich hit a bomb yesterday. William Contreras hit a bomb yesterday. Brewers scored, I think, 3 runs, all on 3 home runs yesterday. Have blanked the Reds the last 2 games, but I think the Reds score some runs here. Obviously, Corbin Burns threw an incredible game. Freddie Peralta held them in check. Reds haven't scored a run in the last 2. I think that changes in a big way here. I can see 6, 7, 8 runs popping for the Reds. It starts on the back of Ellie De La Cruz, absolute phenom there, batting in the 4-hole in the cleanup spot, third base, shortstop eligible. He is expensive, but man, his stolen base upside, and call him Acuna light, right? Can hit for home runs. The dude's stealing home. He's stealing everywhere out there, and against Adrian Hauser and his 15% strikeout rate actually on the season. Sign me up for some of these Reds. Definitely one of my top 3 stacks. I'm with you there. On the Brewers, I would look more as some one-offs. I mean, William Contreras, Willie Adames would be my 2 favorite bats there. But you do get Joey Weimer down there in the 9-hole. Always has the power to do it. So if you're looking at the Brewers, I definitely think some of these wraparound guys like Joey Weimer, Yelich, Contreras, and Willie Adames would be my preferred. But yeah, Jesse Winker in the 4-hole, he's falling off a cliff. I mean, you got Raimel Tapia hitting in the freaking 6-hole. That dude can't do anything. Andrew Monasterio in there, Bryce Terang. So I do think it's the Reds game today. I'll give one win to the Reds in this series, and hopefully I make some money off of it. So definitely like the Reds. Reds are definitely in a good spot. We'll carry some ownership. Probably going to be the highest owned team, if not one of the highest owned teams on the slate. But one of the best hitting part. Actually, it is the best hitting environment for sure on the slate with no Coors Field, wind blowing out, hot and humid in Cincinnati. Bodes pretty well. And then again, that Brewers bullpen is not the Brewers bullpen of the past. Next game I'm looking at on our sheet is the Dodgers and the Mets. Again, this game did get pushed back. It is still on both of the slates on the site. On the sites, Bobby Miller, Max Scherzer on the mound, 2 pretty solid pitchers overall. But again, it is still the Dodgers. They do still have Mookie Betts in there, Freeman, Will Smith, Muncy, Martinez. Those guys can get to anyone, David Peralta. And then any of these Mets against Bobby Miller for you.
Yeah, no Mets for me. They're just in turmoil. If I feel like. So no Mets for me today. I have a little bit of respect for Miller, so I won't be playing these Mets. And then I mentioned it earlier. I really like Max Scherzer today. I do think he strikes out 8+ today from this Dodgers team. JD Martinez, Mookie Betts are dangerous, and I could actually see them maybe hitting a home run or 2, getting 2 or 3 earned runs off Max, but Max still having 10 Ks, a quality start, and a win. Just how I see this game kind of playing out, but. No Dodgers for me, and I will play Max and no Mets for me. So this will just be more of a pitcher thing for me than a bats.
Yeah, again, definitely keep an eye on the weather. I'm just taking a look at Citi Field here. Probably going to be right around, at least what I'm looking at, 10 to 12 mile an hour winds blowing out right around 80 degrees. But again, Kevin Roth does think that there is going to be storms. It is the worst spot on the slate, he said, for weather overall. So definitely keep an eye on that. Would not risk it personally with Max, especially against the Dodgers in a weather game. But I get the upside possibility there for Max. I mean, Muncy, Martinez, and like I said, Altman all strike out over 30%. But everyone else in this lineup is under 15%. So unless he's striking each of those guys out 3 times, which could be a possibility, I think it's going to be tough to come by for Max's upside here. And especially if Mookie gets to him, Freeman, Martinez, things like that. I think there's just better other spots, especially with about 30%, 25 to 30% ownership on Max in a weather game. I think I'll look elsewhere, but not really stacking these Dodgers up here. And then the Mets, I really never get to the Mets too much. You can always play a guy like Pete Alonso, like I say, every slate, but have faith in Bobby Miller, right around 23% K rate on the season, 8% barrel rate so far. So limits hard contact, pretty solid pitcher overall. Not a ton of interest for bats in this one for me personally. Next game on the slate, I think the Rays are definitely a pretty good stack overall. I'm seeing them top 5 in terms of owned stacks on the slate, 5.5 implied run total. They get Brady Singer, guaranteed 9th inning at bats. Let me pull up the weather here in Kauffman Stadium. Looks like it is hot in Kansas City, 97 degrees, 95 degrees by the end of the game, double-digit wind blowing out. Is it a Tampa Bay Rays slate? And what do the Rays do? The Rays smash home runs, and it is against Brady Singer, 18% K rate, barrel rate of 9%. Pretty brutal metrics overall for Singer. The Rays check out good for me. Are you with me?
I'm actually not with you today, Nades, on that. I'm not going to be playing the Rays on my teams. I just I have a little bit more, I guess, faith in Brady Singer limiting damage than you do. I certainly see it. I mean, the first month or two of the Rays, the season, this Rays team was lights out. I think they've cooled down a little bit, but I could certainly see playing, some of those guys. They had, several All-Stars, Wander Franco, Randy Rosarena, Josh Lowe, Luke Relly. I mean, I can certainly understand if you wanted to play that. I just have a little bit more respect for Brady Singer, so I'll be off the Rays on my teams. And then the Royals, not going to play any of these Royals. Like I said earlier, we both talked about it. We like Zach Eflin as a pitcher, so I'll be off these Royals, and this will be more of a pitcher's game for me and a complete stay away from the bats.
Yeah, this is our kind of our first spot that we're a little bit different. It's just almost 100 degrees in Kansas City, wind blowing out. Again, Brady Singer doesn't strike out a lot of guys. Let me pull up his numbers real quick. Last 30, let's see, last 30 days. Do you have it in front of you in terms of, hold on. So last 30 days, Brady Singer, 15% K rate versus the right-handed side. He's striking out at under 10% of batters overall. And, I mean, that starts with Randy Rosarena in there, Jose Siri. I like both of those guys quite a bit, if Siri is in that lineup there. But, I mean, even from the left side of the plate, 15% K rate over the last 30 days. Expected ISO, he keeps it in check, but they have pretty good WOBA numbers. The Rays are definitely going to get some ownership, but I think, again, it's a weather game, wind blowing out, hot and humid in Kansas City, guaranteed nothing at bats. I definitely think the Rays are definitely one of my top stacks of the day. Going to come with some ownership, but I think there's a lot of ways to get different, and I'm not a believer like in Brady Singer like you are. So may the best man win on a Sunday here. A little Nades ham battle here, and then no Royals for me against Zach Eflin. I do think Zach Eflin is my top pitcher on the slate. I think he can just has a strikeout upside, can limit some damage there. But again, it is hot and humid, so that does you can always pick off some bats that have power if you're willing to. Salvador Perez, MJ Melendez, guys like that if you want to, but not for me on the 10-game slate personally. Next game on the slate, we have Washington heading into St. Louis. Pretty good hitting weather in St. Louis, if I'm not mistaken. Looking at the weather here, I mean, you got Jack Flaherty, Josiah Gray. We talked about Flaherty a little bit. It is Josiah Gray for the Nationals. These Cardinals have been starting to hit the ball a little bit yesterday. They made me some money. Obviously, had the doubleheader yesterday after getting rained out on Friday, which was pretty hurtful for me personally. Are you going back to these Cardinals today, which do have a 5+ implied run total against Josiah Gray, and then any Nationals for you against Mr. Flaherty?
The All-Star Josiah Gray. We didn't even touch on him in our pitcher recap. And it's crazy to say that he's an all-star, but lo and behold, he was. I think you got to have interest in some of these Cardinals just with the amount of hard contact that Josiah Gray gives up, especially to the left-handed side of the plate. So I would have interest in some of these lefties for these Cardinals, but their bread is buttered from the right-handed side of the plate. So I would throw, Goldschmidt if you're going to full stack them, Goldschmidt, Arenado, or Contreras, mixed in with some of those lefties. I don't think is a bad recipe. To stack against Josiah Gray and this bullpen. They played a double header yesterday as well. Real quick, I'm going to look and see how many relievers they threw because we talk about taxed bullpens. But they threw three relievers yesterday, and they all threw 17+ pitches. So a little bit of interest in the Cardinals. I'll have to take a deeper look. Don't think they'll be one of my top stacks, but may have some one-off lefties in there, and then no interest in this Nationals team. It's just tough to for them to break a slate. We have a little bit of interest in Jack Flaherty if we need some salary savings, and it's tough to get to these Nationals. I just don't think they have the slate winning upside, especially on a 10-game slate on DK or 11-game slate on FanDuel.
Yeah, I'm with you here. Again, Busch Stadium, 95 degrees, 97 by the end of the game. So obviously gets hotter throughout the game, about 8 to 10 mile an hour winds blowing out. So again, hot and humid in St. Louis, wind blowing out. Not the greatest hitter's park, but again, it is Josiah Gray who gets barreled decent, right around a 20% strikeout rate on the season so far. So I think these Cardinals continue to keep it rolling today. Brendan Donovan continues to be too cheap there. Likely bat and leadoff. Paul Goldschmidt. Nolan Arenado hit a bomb yesterday. I think you can go right back to him. Nolan Gorman, I always bring him up. Dylan Carlson. I'm pretty sure Dylan Carlson hit a bomb yesterday as well. He's just 2,500, should crack that lineup. So I do think these Cardinals are definitely in play. They are looking like early look to be the highest owned offense on the slate, contesting with the Brewers, which is pretty crazy to me overall. So Cardinals definitely going to come with some ownership, but again, they are getting Josiah Gray right around 100 degrees in St. Louis with some wind blowing out. So have to like some of these Cardinals. I don't think they're my favorite stack by any means on the slate, but definitely firmly in play for me. And then Nationals, I'm not signing up to play the Nationals on a full slate. They just never really get the job done personally to stack them up. Can't play everyone, and they're definitely not going to make the cut for me. If you guys are new, hit that like button. I see about 250 people watching in here, just 82 likes. Let's see if we can get to, I'm going to set the bar a little bit higher. Let's see if we can get to 130 likes. If we do get to 130 likes, again, we have a couple games left on this slate to break down. 130 likes, we're going to give you our top 2 proprietary ranked pitchers. Again, Friday was Mr. Corbin Burns, number 1 on the charts. He was sub 10% ownership, dropped the 40 bomb. You needed him to print money. And let's see if we can get those likes home. 130, we'll give away our top 2 ranked hitters, top 2 ranked pitchers on our proprietary ranking system over here at SHIPITNation.com. Again, SHIPITNation.com, $59 a month, $5.99 for the year, which does equate out to under $50 a month when you do it. Obviously, you have to pay it all up front. But when you break it down, divided by 12, right, monthly rate, right around $49 a month, that will get you access to all of our content, including PGA, including NBA when it returns. NFL right around the corner. We'll have you covered there. We have the major next week for golf. And lo and behold, we are dropping projections as well now for golf. They will be around, if I'm not mistaken. If I heard right, the little birdie in my ear tell me next week for the major, we are having projections come back for PGA, including ownership projections as well. So just continue to add content, continue to add value over here for already an incredible value for all the content, all the tools, all the projections, everything that we do offer over here at SHIPITNation.com. Again, we are also partnered with the Solver Optimizer. If you add our premium membership along with the Solver membership for all sports, comes out to about $119 a month. Which is far and away the all-in cheapest price in the industry. When you talk about an optimizer, you talk about a site coverage for content projections and tools to use to be successful with DFS. So definitely SHIPITNation.com. Head over. The time is now to jump in. Next game on the slate, we talked about it. It's the Wrigley wind game. 15 mile an hour winds, kind of sustained, blowing out. Gust upwards of 22, 23 miles an hour, about 80 degrees, 85 degrees in Chicago. It is Justin Steele, the NL All-Star starter in the All-Star game, Justin Steele, but he does get these Red Sox. My guy, Rafael Devers, home run play of the day for me Friday, hit the double dong. Red Sox printed money for me, almost got me all the way home. I think the Red Sox definitely going to go under-owned here against Justin Steele. But again, hot and humid in Chicago, wind blowing out in Wrigley. They have been hitting the ball a little bit. Justin Turner hit a bomb for me as well. We got Rob Refsnyder likely cracking the lineup today against the lefty. Is a pinch hit risk there, but he's just 2,800. Typically bats first or second against the left-handed. Will get probably pulled once a righty comes in overall. You got Connor Wong. Yu Chang hit a bomb as well. My guy Yu Chang, the Solver, was slamming him in lineups for me at 2,200. Are you going back to the Red Sox here in Wrigley? And then any of these Cubs against Cutter Crawford? We didn't really talk on Cutter Crawford too much outside of his price tag 5,500 with some K upside there. But hey, these Cubs can definitely get to Cutter, I think, a little bit. Kind of one of those double-edged side. Are you going to this game for bats? Which I think both teams do go under-owned in this one.
Yeah, exactly. I was looking on FanDuel because that's where I'll spend most of my time today. We'll be on FanDuel and looking at this game with this win. I love this type of game when we have a Coors Field game on the slate, and I can pivot directly to this game with 15 mile an hour winds blowing out in Wrigley Field in the Windy City. I really love both sides of this game. Stacking up 8 players on FanDuel, with the pitcher I want. I mean, you can get cheap bats in there with the wind blowing out that have home run upside. I do think Cutter Crawford is prone to a nice little blow up. So I do like these Cubs a little bit more than these Red Sox, just based on the pitching matchup. So I'll take a deep, hard look at full stacking this as a nice pivot off of the Coors Field chalk, where you really haven't needed the Coors Field chalk this weekend outside Giancarlo Stanton. But so hopefully people flock to Coors Field. I'm going to stay in Wrigley Field and hopefully give me a shipper today.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like both sides of this game. Again, the wind is blowing out to right, so a little boost to the lefties, right? If they can obviously pull that ball down the line. Rafael Devers, Yoshida, pretty much the only 2 lefties that I'm seeing from these Red Sox. But again, it is still wind blowing out, good weather overall. I definitely prefer the lefties in this one. The Cubs do have more lefties. Mike Tauchman there, batting leadoff, likely 2,900. At least he's projected to bat leadoff. I haven't seen if that lineup did come out yet, but 2,900 batting leadoff there against Cutter. Definitely firmly in play. Cody Bellinger continues to just smash the baseball. I think Cody Bellinger is a great play today. 4,600 on DraftKings, 3,800 on FanDuel. Jared Young, don't sleep on Mr. Jared Young there, 2,700 at first base. So I think I give a slight lean overall to these Cubs. Again, it's not guaranteed anything at bats, but I think picking on Cutter Crawford is a little bit it makes it a little bit easier for me personally than picking on Justin Steele. I do think we see runs in this game. It's more just the Cubs have more left-handed bats. The wind is blowing out to right field. You can pull the ball down the line there in Wrigley Field. So give me these Cubs lefties preferably. And like I said, don't sleep on Jared Young, 2,700 at first base. We'll go under-owned because people do like paying up at first base when you got guys like Vlad Guerrero, Pete Alonso, Matt Olson. I mean, the list goes on and on. Have home run, 337 expected ISO on the season against right-handed pitching, and it is Cutter Crawford who does get barreled right around a 9 to 10% clip on the season. Next game on the slate, we have the Cleveland Guardians heading into Texas, and man, these Texas Rangers just continue to hit the baseball. Obviously, like I said, like we talked about earlier, 7 All-Stars on the field at one time when Eovaldi was in there pitching, which was pretty crazy to see. And we talk about it every time we're on the show together, Hamwich, because every time it seems like the Rangers are at home in Texas facing a right-handed pitcher, and I bring it up every time. Texas at home versus a righty. It is a little bit higher quality righty, personally, in Tanner Beebe, I think, here. But, man, it's still the Rangers at home against a righty. I mean, you talk about Corey Seager, Adolis Garcia, Nate Lowe. Jonah Heim in there, Zeke Duran, Leody Tavares. I mean, the list goes on and on. 1 through 9, these guys are starting to become in play for me. Always, we slandered Travis Janikowski on Friday. He was in my buddy Raz's shipper on DraftKings. He won the $3 mini max by 30 points, and he even had a 0 in that lineup. But it was a Texas stack overall, 5-man Texas stacks, a mini Minnesota stack with a one-off from Coors Field, and he won the whole tournament by 30 points, and he had Travis Janikowski's 17 bomb in there after we slandered him. Are we going back to these Rangers against Tanner Beebe? And then Cleveland, personally, I never play Cleveland, especially on a big slate, but do you have any interest in those guys?
Yeah, our apologies to the Janikowskis and his family for that, slandering him like we did on Friday night, that he goes out and stealing bases. I'm getting alerts that he's stealing bases, and I'm just face palming my hands. So apologies to Janikowski. I know he's listening to this show, so we apologize about that. But man, this Rangers lineup, this is the way I love to play, Nades. And it's when you can get an explosive offense like this at home for sub 5% on a slate that people are going to be flocking to bad offenses. And if we can get an elite type offense at home that's been crushing it all season, this is why I love playing MLB DFS. I really like these Rangers today. I guess you can stack 1 through 9, include Janikowski in there. Normally I wouldn't do that, but he did us dirty on Friday night. So really love this Rangers team, sub 5%. Tanner Beebe is a good pitcher, but I'll take my chances with this offense, and hopefully today the offense wins out over this great pitching. And this Guardians team is tough to stack. They never win or rarely win 10-plus game slates. They just don't have that power upside. Martin Perez on the other side, however, man, he's awful. Not striking anybody out. Tons of power. So I would be looking at Jose Ramirez as a one-off. Batting in that 3 hole, you can always play Jose Ramirez. He's an all-star. He's a great player, but I really like him today as a one-off for these Guardians team. Even to take Martin Perez deep, who just can't strike anybody out and gives up tons of power to the right-handed side of the plate.
Yeah, excellent breakdown. Our guy Jake Swales, always in chat here. We appreciate you, Jake, tuning in. You always have some good nuggets to drop in chat. BB has been pretty lights out since late May, but on the flip side, it'd be crazy to say that these Rangers also haven't been probably the best, one of the best offenses in all of baseball, scoring runs. I mean, like I said, 7 All-Stars on the field out of the 9 positions at one time in the All-Star game is pretty incredible to say. So it's a battle of two quality, again, a quality pitcher and a very, very high quality offense. And I'll take my chances with how Texas is hitting the ball right now. Obviously, you need them to ship tournaments, which we're all here to do on Friday night. And I'll take my chances again. I always play the Rangers at home when they're facing a right-handed pitcher, and it's Tanner Beebe. I understand it is still baseball. He could go out there and limit, which he has done, like you said, since May, but I think one side has to give, and I'm hoping it's the Rangers get to him a little bit here. Personally, I like the Rangers quite a bit. I'm not seeing them getting any ownership really on this slate. They are expensive, but for good reason. They just hit the baseball. They score runs. Guardians for me are a pass. I'm not going to any of these Guardians. I never really play the Guardians, so pretty easy stay away spot for me. 117 likes. Again, 280 people watching now. We appreciate y'all tuning in. If you have not hit that like button already, let's see if we can get to 130 likes at least. Continue to hit that. Last game on the FanDuel slate we will go to is Coors Field. Again, DraftKings did not include the Coors Field game. Thankfully, I hate dealing with Coors Field. And it is the Yankees, 6.6 implied run total for the Yankees, getting Mr. Chase Anderson in Coors Field. We'll break it down. I'll throw it over to Hamwich because obviously he has broken down this game. He's primarily a FanDuel player. So with it being on the FanDuel slate, Hamwich, where are you going in this one?
Yeah, not picking on Garrett Cole over there. So no Rockies for me. Not even considering them as one-offs. Not really considering Garrett Cole either as a pitcher. I know we didn't touch on him because he's not on the DK slate, but his strikeout numbers have been down a little bit. I think as a pivot, if you wanted to go there, it wouldn't be the worst idea. But no Garrett Cole for me. This Rockies team just doesn't strike out like some of these other teams, and I'm looking for K upside on FanDuel, and then on the bats for the Yankees. Like we said all weekend, I mean, you haven't had to have the Yankees in order to ship tournaments. And you mentioned it a minute ago, that's what we're here to do is ship tournaments. I mean, obviously you got to play Giancarlo Stanton. He obviously helps if you've had him as a one-off. He's been lights out this weekend. You had his home run call on Friday night, and he hit a bomb yesterday as well. So I would stay with Giancarlo Stanton if you're going to play him. Chase Anderson is a reverse splits guy. So if you're looking to play some of those Yankees, I would focus on the righties as opposed to the lefties. Josh Donaldson, who has been crushing it as an expected ISO versus right-handed hitters, he is expected to be out of the lineup. So that's just a little bit more power that's expected to be out of the lineup today. So that makes that Yankees lineup even more watered down than me. So for the Yankees, I'm not going to be fully stacking them on FanDuel. I would have Giancarlo Stanton as a one-off would be the extent of my exposure.
Yeah, one note. Again, Donaldson did just get placed on the 10-day, so he will not be in the lineup tonight. So definitely do not play Josh Donaldson. He will not be in there. And the Yankees did recall Oswaldo Peraza, so he will definitely likely be in that lineup. They did just recall him from AAA. So again, Sunday baseball, crazy stuff happens. Teams kind of throw some other guys in there that typically don't get in there every day. Typically, a lot of these teams do get their everyday players a day off on Sundays here and there. So that Yankees lineup is definitely going to look a little bit different again on FanDuel. I would prefer them more as a mini stack like I always do with Coors Field. Typically, I never go full stack. But yeah, it's hard to ignore Juan Carlos Stanton right now. Hit a bomb on Friday, hit a bomb yesterday again. I think he's firmly in play, but I prefer him just more as a one-off. I'm not really going to this game on FanDuel. 125 likes. Let's see it once we go through our pitcher and our favorite home run call of the day. See if they can get those likes home to give out our proprietary ranked pitchers and top 2 hitters as well for the people. I'm going to throw it over to you, Hamwich. We went 2 for 2 on Friday with home run calls. Our pitcher calls were on point. We'll start with the pitcher. Where are you going for your lower owned contrarian pitcher to post a nice score today?
Yeah, he's I'm seeing him in the teens, but I don't think he'll be there. I think he'll be much lower than that. And I'm talking about Max Scherzer playing this Dodgers lineup. I'm going to be lurking around 15 at about 5 o'clock tonight when Max Scherzer takes the hill. And then Scherzer's going to go out and give me a 60 ball and take me to the top of that Q leaderboard. And so give me Max Scherzer as my low-owned pitcher of the day.
Yeah, I like it. And I'm going to a guy that we seems to be arm in arm with. I'm going out to Baltimore, and I'm going with our guy, Kyle Bradish. I'm seeing sub 20% ownership, right around 15% ownership. Pitching at home against this Miami Marlins, pretty woeful offense outside of Mr. All-Star himself, Luis Arias. If you can get through him and his low strikeouts, I mean, you're looking at 6 guys in this lineup that strike out right around 30%. Give me Kyle Bradish to post a big number today on DraftKings at just 8,200. Love Kyle Bradish personally. I'm anchoring my teams around him. Obviously, keep an eye on the weather there. There is some weather concern there, but I do think the game plays much like Kevin Roth does, and Kyle Bradish is going to post a big score today. Throw it over to you, Hamwich. You called Matt Olson on Friday. Where are you going for your home run call today on Sunday to give the people the winners?
I'm going back to the left-handed side of the plate, up to the city of brotherly love. We're all being late August competing in the FanDuel World Baseball Championship. Hopefully the game plays, but Mr. Kyle Schwarber batting leadoff for these Phillies. He will take Seth Lugo yard today in Philadelphia.
All right. I like it. Kyle Schwarber. That's a nice call there. I will give the people, I already gave one call. I go Travis d'Arnaud to take Mr. Cease deep today in Truist Park. So I like Travis d'Arnaud at the catcher position. 4,600 there. The dude smashes freaking right-handed pitching at home. Hot and humid, wind blowing out in Atlanta. But I will give a second one, and I'm going to that win game in Chicago. I'm going right back to the well. Cody Bellinger. I'm going Cody Bellinger to take Cutter Crawford over the wall in Wrigley Field. Like both sides of that plate. Wind blowing out, hot and humid in Chicago. Hopefully Bellinger gets the ball up in the air and that wind gust takes it out over the wall. So I like Cody Bellinger to take Cutter Crawford deep in Wrigley Field. We appreciate y'all getting the likes home. I will go ahead and give away our top 2 ranked pitchers over here on SHIPIT Nation. And it's 2 pretty contrarian pitchers. Number 1, Justin Steele. When you look at the metrics, you look at the numbers, he's our overall ranked number 1 pitcher of the slate. We didn't really talk about him too much, but it is still the NL All-Star starter, Justin Steele, we're talking about. This 9th best matchup on the board in terms of strikeouts with his Boston team on the road. Justin Steele's number 1. And then number 2, Colby Allard. We talked about him a little bit for the Atlanta Braves. I like the Atlanta offense quite a bit. He should have some run support. He's our 2nd-ranked pitcher, just 6,300 on DraftKings. I think he can navigate this White Sox team, which we've been picking on quite a bit. So those are our top 2 ranked pitchers. Throw it over to our top 2 ranked hitters. And it starts with that team that we just talked about late on the slate. It's Texas. It's Mr. Corey Seager at the top of the charts for us today. 6,500 at the shortstop position. Definitely think he can take Tanner Beebe deep today. And then our 2nd ranked was Josh Donaldson, but he will not be in that lineup. So I'll go to our 3rd hitter. It's Juan Soto. We talked about him. And, hey, you get a little double leverage situation because Zach Wheeler is projected to be far and away the highest owned, chalkiest pitcher on the slate. Juan Soto is our 2nd-ranked hitter on the slate. We appreciate y'all giving the likes, hitting the subscribe button if you have not already. We appreciate y'all tuning in for the Sunday edition of the Witching Hour. But for Hamwich, I'm Nades. We'll catch you guys next time. Thank you.
See you.